This video is packed with my top 15 DIYs of August 2020, so stay tuned and get ready to be inspired. Alright guys, so let's get started right away. This wreath was part of a video that I did with a farmhouse chic fall decor. And the first thing I want to do is paint this tiny little pumpkin from the Dollar Tree using Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the blush pink.
Blame me for the things that weigh me down. 'Cause in the echo of your silence, I only hear what's best for me.
Alright, so while that dries, I am going to add these cattail, what are they called? Cattail picks, maybe? Or cattail dry picks? Something like that. But anywho, I got them on Amazon. They're the real thing. They're not plastic. They're not wired. And I really love them. They're so cute. And I'm just going to add a few here and there until I like what I see. And then to make it very chic, I am going to add some of these, not petunias, some of these peonies. I got these on Amazon too, and I know most of you have seen my videos that I have used these. I'm still obsessed with them, and I thought they would look super cute in this wreath. So I'm just going to add them as I see that I like them. And then once that is done, I'm going to start making a bow here using buffalo check ribbon from the Dollar Tree. It's going to be very simple. It's just a simple bow, and I'm going to fluff it up and then put it right in the center in between the flowers. And then once that's in there, then I am going to then put that little pumpkin that I painted earlier and clip it right in the middle of the bow. Alright, so now I am getting ready to add a larger pumpkin, but it's still not large, it's just larger than that little one. And I'm going to hot glue it to the bottom of the arrangement there. This is just going to add a little bit more of that farmhouse tone. It has that burlap fabric on top of it, and it's super cute. It did take me a little bit of hot glue to secure it, but I finally did because it's foam and it's very light, so it did stick. And then I'm going to use a little bit more of that buffalo check ribbon to add the hanging portion of it, and then we'll be set. And this one turned out so cute, and which is why I wanted it in this video, because it's definitely one of my favorites from this month. Hey guys, so I want to remind you about my new channel, Beauty on Purpose at Home, where it's all about home inspiration, vlogs, cleaning, organizing inspiration, hauls, all that kind of stuff. And I'd love to connect with you there as well. So check out the link in the description box down below, and I hope you consider subscribing there as well. All right, so here we are on this second DIY. I'm probably going to lose count by the end of the video. So, but for now, I do remember we are on DIY number 2. This is a pumpkin from the Dollar Tree. This is also part of that farmhouse chic fall decor that I did again earlier this month, and I'm going to give it, I removed everything from the pumpkin. I removed the glitter that I had from it, and now I'm going to give it 2 coats of that same Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the blush pink. And then once that was done, I'm going to take some Waverly Antiquing Wax and my stenciling brush, or not my stenciling brush, one of my smaller brushes, and I'm just going to start adding some details distressing, just so that it has a little bit more dimension as well as a distressed farmhouse look.
You talk about faith. Is it just something you say? Or is it the same with that girl you texting when I look away? 'Cause in the echo of your silence, I only hear what's best for me. Yeah, in the echo of your silence, I'm thinking more of her.
And then once I liked what I saw, I let it dry, and then I added another one of these little bows, simple bows with Dollar Tree buffalo check ribbon, and I'm just going to add it to the top of, or right underneath the stem of the pumpkin.
Society, your body, who gets the better version of you? I need the bitter, bitter truth. I need the better version of you. I need the better version of you.
Alright guys, so then I took this Dollar Tree flower. It came in a little bundle, and I just removed the flower, cut the stem really close to the base of the flower, and I'm just going to hot glue it to the bottom of the bow. Then I'm going to add the little leaf, that is that silver leaf that came originally on the pumpkin, and I'm going to hot glue it to the right side of the bow. And then I decided to add a little bit more detail, and I added a harvest tin word that I got at the Dollar Tree as well, right in the center of the pumpkin, because I thought it would just add a little bit more cute little chic portion of it that I really loved.
How did we end up here in the corner looking like enemies? We used to be the team people talk about, what a chemistry. I can see it in your eyes. You don't wanna talk anymore. I wanna get so numb while we enemies. No, you don't mind the way I stutter my words. You know exactly what it means and how it hurts. Oh, I can't believe you're here. Can't get any worse. No, no. I just wanna get out of here. I find it so hard to breathe. 'Cause when you get too close, I lose my way and I freeze. I wish you knew what power you have over me. But
Alright guys, so for my next DIY, I am going to take this leftover paneling from my garage. It was just leftover. I have no clue where it came from, but I turned it to its back, and it had a lot of leftover glue, but it had already been like sanded or something because it was very smooth. And I love that look already, but I wanted to add a little bit more of a rustic farmhouse weathered look. So I am dry brushing some Rust-Oleum chalk pen in the linen white using my chippy brush, and I'm going to add it very lightly, and again it's just to add more of a weathered look.
hard to breathe. Just get me out of here. Just get me out of here. Just get me out of. How can you be so calm?
Alright, so now I'm going to smooth everything out and just kind of blend it in using a 220 grit sandpaper. And I'm just going to follow this direction of the dry brush paint, just going up and down, smoothing it out and just blending it a little bit more. And then I'm going to use some Arteza acrylic markers to write the words "Hello Fall." But first I wanted to kind of trace it with a pencil because I get nervous when I have to freehand something, and not that I had to because I could have used my Cricut, but in this case I just wanted to show that you can certainly freehand and not have to have a Cricut or a cutting machine. So here I am just again freehanding the words hello fall, and then I'm going to use an Artisa marker in their white tone to then show the words, and I just thought it turned out really cute. I did have to trace it several times because the paint was being absorbed by the paneling, but no big deal. After a few times I was able to get it and it turned out really cute.
Around me when I act desperately. You used to be the one getting crazy when I be hard to reach. I can see it in your eyes. You don't wanna talk anymore. I wanna get so numb, were we enemies? No, you don't mind the way I stutter my words. You know exactly what it means and how it hurts. Oh, I can't believe you're here. Can't get any worse. No, no. I just wanna get out of here. I find it so hard to breathe. 'Cause when you get too close, I lose my way and I freeze. I wish you knew what power you have over me. But now it's so hard to breathe. Just get me out of here. Just get me out of here. I just wanna get out of here. I find it so hard to breathe. 'Cause when you get too close, I lose my way and I freeze. I wish you knew what power you have over me. But now it's so hard to breathe. Just get me out of here. I can't believe.
Alright guys, so now I am going to take a Dollar Tree pumpkin. This is a little wooden pumpkin that came in a set of a few, I think maybe 6. I think it's supposed to be part of like a banner that you can write some things on. I've used them in several projects. For this one, I'm just going to give it one full coat of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white, and then I'm going to let it fully dry.
Give me love, give me all your love, oh 'cause I want you. No one else makes me feel this way, don't know what you do.
I am now drilling a couple holes on the top of the sign so that I can then add some jute twine, and that's what I'll be using to hang the sign.
Hold my hand, could you hold my hand, look me in the eyes. You and me, yeah, that's all I need, and I'll be alright. I'll be right here, I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer, I wanna stay here with you.
Alright, so to finalize things, I'm just now going to secure the little pumpkin there on the bottom next to the Hello Fall. I'm going to use hot glue, and I used this little tiny clothespin because I thought it would look so cute to make it seem like it's hanging from the clothespin, but it also serves its second purpose, which is to cover the little hole that was on top. So basically, I'm just going to use hot glue, and then guys, we'll be done with this one.
All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. Be who you are and you'll be enough. If you're giving me your love, giving me your love. All that we have is each other now. Promise you won't leave my side. I hope who I am is enough for you. If I'm giving you my love, giving you my love, love. Tell me what you wanna do, I'll do anything.
Alright guys, so now I'm on to, I think this is DIY number 4. I'm going to create a farmhouse style sign for fall using Dollar Tree foam board. And basically what I want to do is cut some strips of foam board, and the ones I cut were 3 inches by 10 inches long, but you can certainly customize this to whatever size you want. It's super easy, and I wanted 4 strips, but you can certainly make it longer and have 5, 6, 7 strips. But I want to do is I want to kind of like create a palette or planked sign. And so I'm going to use the foam board because I know a lot of you have access to this at the Dollar Tree and it's very inexpensive.
As long as I can be here with you, everything's alright. I'll be right here. I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer. I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. Be who you are and you'll be enough. If you're giving me your love, giving me your love. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. I hope who I am is enough for you. If I'm giving you my love, giving you my love, love, love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love.
Alright, so now I have my 4 strips, and now what I want to do is I want to give them a little bit more character. I want these to look very rustic, like they've been around for a while. And so if you've seen palettes, they have very different cuts, or if you've seen pieces of driftwood, I mean, they have different cuts. So I am just going to now start making random cuts as I see necessary, or as I see like that I like. And then once I see or have all the planks cut to my liking, then I'll join all the planks together using another piece of foam board and hot glue.
Don't need someone to save me, no, and don't come running to blame me. From miles away, I can tell that something's off. The way you look and how you pause when you talk, I think I said enough. You said you love for me something brand new. You said this is something you would never do. Here we are in your car. Let me see who you are, who you really are. Yeah. Don't need you here to say you're sorry. 'Cause if you're gonna leave me, then just do it. Don't take it slow, don't be gentle. No, I just gotta know if you're gonna leave me, then just do it. Let's be honest for a second. Yeah, you're being over your head, babe. 'Cause there is no one other than me that can make you feel the way you feel when I hold you. I think I said enough. You said you love for me something brand new. You said this is something you would never do. Here we are in your car. Let me see who you are.
Alright, so now I am going to give everything one coat of the Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white. Although the foam board is white, you could tell that it's kind of like paper when you look at it. So I want to have more of a painted surface, and then I want it to be a little bit brighter. So I'm just going to add one coat. That's all that it needed.
Who you really are, yeah. Don't need you here to say you're sorry. 'Cause if you're gonna leave me, then just do it. Don't take it slow, don't be gentle.
And then now that the paint is dry, I'm going to distress it and give it a little bit more dimension and character using the Waverly Antiquing Wax and my stenciling brush. And I'm just going to focus on the edges as well as where the planks meet. And then that way, and a little bit here and there in the center. And again, it's just to add character and dimension. And I just think it just added a little bit, so much more that farmhouse look that I was looking for.
Shooting me with words, but I won't let them bruise. Even though it hurts, I won't show it to you. 'Cause it will ricochet, I won't let it bite. I will look at you and tell you that I'm alright. Like a ricochet, it will come back to you. 'Cause I don't care about you anymore. So you can't hurt me like you did before. Let me tell you, not because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away.
Alright, so now that the paint and the wax is fully dry, I'm now going to just add a few things to add more detail and give it that fall look that I'm looking for. So I'm going to add this tin thankful word on the bottom right of the sign. I'm just going to hot glue it in place. And then I'm going to add some florals as I see fit. These little tiny yellow flowers came from the Dollar Tree as well. And I'm just going to add them to the side of the thankful, and then some picks that are also from the Dollar Tree from a different little I think it was from the cotton stems. And then I decided to add some stems to the flowers using the Artisa acrylic markers in one of their green tones as well as a brown tones, just to add a little bit more detail of that.
And even if you're trying to hurt me, my skin's getting thicker each day. I don't know how you fall asleep at night, knowing that your words are hurtful, it's just not right. No, because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. Like a ricochet, like a ricochet, like a ricochet. Like a ricochet. I used to let it in, all the things you said. You try to turn me into somebody else, but it will ricochet. I won't let it bite. I will look at you and tell you that I'm alright. Like a ricochet, it will come back to you. 'Cause I don't care about you anymore. So you can't hurt me like you did before. Let me tell you, not because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. And even if you're trying to hurt me, my skin's getting thicker each day. Don't know how you fall asleep at night, knowing that.
And then I wanted to add a bow, a simple bow using jute twine, just to kind of add a little bit of detail right to the center bottom of the flower little arrangement.
Your words are hurtful, it's just not right. No, because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. Like a ricochet, like a ricochet, like a ricochet, like a ricochet.
And then of course I'm adding some jute twine to the back just to make sure that I have something to hang it from, and then this one will be done.
Let me tell ya, not because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. And even if you're trying to hurt me, my skin's getting thicker each day. Don't know how you fall asleep at night, knowing that your words are hurtful, it's just not right. Not because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away like a ricochet. Oh, like a ricochet. Oh, it's like a ricochet.
Alright guys, so now moving on to a different kind of DIY. I got this table, well actually I didn't even get it. One of my family members saw it on the side of the road. It was literally on the side of the road, thrown away. She grabbed it, put it in her car, and she brought it to me because she knows that I love to transform furniture. So what I want to do is remove everything from it and just keep the top portion, the table portion of it. Now, I originally I wanted to keep the bottom platform as well, but as you can see, it was broken, so I couldn't keep that bottom one, but I was able to salvage the bottom surface, the bottom platform, and that's what I wanted anyways.
I've been lying here for too long. I don't know what else to do. I wanna get away from every little thing just to try to make it through. I've been thinking about my options, every detail in my head, but it doesn't really matter, nothing matters, so I cry instead. I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been
So after everything was removed, this is what I am left with. It's a very heavy duty, very large, perfectly round piece, and I'm so excited because I want to turn it into a extra large serving tray as well as a wall piece, a wall decor. But first I want to fill in the holes that are on the back of it, and I am using wood filler, and I'm just going to fill in the bigger holes where the legs were as well as the smaller ones where the screws were.
trying everything I can, but I ain't got nothing left. I've been staring at the ceiling, I've been staying up all night. Everything I ever worked for vanished in the blink of an eye. I've been asking every question, 'cause I haven't got a clue. Why's it gotta be me? What the hell am I supposed to?
Alright, so while the wood filler dries, I did put something in between the platform as from the table, just so that the wood filler was not touching the table. I'm just going to clean very well the top surface of it using crud cutter to get it ready for paint. But I did want to also sand it down just a little bit, so I sanded it down using my electric sander and a 220 grit sandpaper, dusted it, and then it was ready for paint.
I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can, but I ain't got nothing left. And I know there's so much more.
Alright, so then I am going to give it 2 coats of the Rust-Oleum chalk paint and the linen white. I started painting using my chippy brush, but then I moved on to my chalk paint brush because I started seeing way too many brush strokes. And so for a bigger piece like this, I do like to use my chalk paint brush, But for smaller projects, I do like using my chippy brush.
to this life, but it's hard to see it clearly. Yeah, I try my best, but nothing turns out right. God, I need you now so dearly. 'Cause I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can, but I ain't got nothing left. I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can. I ain't got nothing.
Alright, so now the 2 coats are fully dry. I am now going to distress the piece using my electric sander and the 220 grit sandpaper. I'm going to focus on the edges on the sides, not the middle. I do want this to have a farmhouse style, but I don't want it to be overly distressed.
Look out, here she comes. The woman that I love. It's too bad she'll never know. Yeah, I can't tell her how I feel, because she has someone who makes her happy. I'm a ghost in these walls, or at least I try to be.
Okay, now I am on my computer in Cricut Design Space, and I just want to use one of the designs that I've already downloaded. And this, I have several that are farmhouse style. Originally, I wanted to have this one with the windmill. I did change my mind later on because I just thought a rounder one would fit the design overall. But I just kind of wanted to show you the process of how I do things. And so basically I just start to, after I measured the surface and knowing how large I wanted it, and then I started to design so that I can have the decal for the oh my gosh, for the tray.
'Cause I hope that I'm not showing how I feel for her, but she won't feel the same for me. I've got this picture in my mind. It's just the two of us, just the two of us. But I know I have to try to let her go, because she won't be mine. I listen when she talks, I watch her when she walks. She's giving me these feelings that I've never felt before, but she will never know.
Alright, so the wood filler is finally dry, and I'm just going to smooth everything out using my electric sander. A lot of the wood filler is just excess wood filler, but so I just like to sand it down until it's smooth to the touch.
That I love her so well. She's with somebody else, and I will have to let her go. She will never know, nah, never know, nah. She will never know, never know, she'll never know. It's like she stole my heart.
And then after I cleaned it and everything was smooth and clean, now I'm going to give the back side 2 coats of the Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white.
Without knowing she did, but I guess that it will pass. Yeah, I can't be the only one who got lost inside the blue of those eyes. I've gotta let her go. I know it won't be easy. I wanna hold her close, but I have to try as hard as I can, 'cause she'll never be mine. I listen when she talks.
after the paint was fully dry and before I flip it over and start working on the main design on the front, I want to add 2 claw hooks to the back of it. It definitely needs to because it is a heavy piece, so I want to make sure it's safe if it's hung on the wall. I also added some felt pads to the back. This is so that if it is used as a tray, it will not scratch any of the surface of any table. And I did double them up because I wanted them to be higher than the claw hooks, so that way the claw hooks is not going to scratch the surface as well. Alright, so now it's time to get the stencil going. Everything is cut in this blue vinyl. I do have these supplies in my Amazon store. Again, it is linked down below if you want to take a look at that. So I'm just going to weed it out and then start to stencil it using Rust-Oleum chalk pen in the charcoal tone, which is a very dark gray, almost black, and it was perfect for this particular design that I'm designing here. And then I did cut a second stencil using the Cricut, and it was not part of this design, but I did wanted to add something else, and it was established in 1912. I just thought it looked super cute for this farmhouse style tray.
Would you stay till the morning light, or would you follow me, or would you let it be if I leave tonight?
Alright, so as I am finishing up here, now I want to seal everything in using my Varathane polyurethane in the crystal clear, and I'm going to give it 3 good coats. I want to make sure that it is nice and durable. If something spills on it, I just want to make sure it is good. If it's used as a wall decor, it's fine, but if it is used as a tray, I want to make sure that it is sealed up very well.
We could do this right. We'll find the remedy. Oh, would you stay with me now till the morning light? Before you turn away, I just want you to know that I didn't throw your stuff away. Before you make up your mind that I'm nowhere to find, I'm standing right here. I know that I told you we're over. I swear that I'm sober. Just listen, I miss you. And I know that I said all these things, but now when you're with her, I can see that.
Alright, so now it's time to add some handles. Again, if it's used as a tray, you want to have something to be able to grab it from. So I'm just using painter's tape and measuring, making sure that I have everything measured nicely and even. And then the handles that I got are just some pools that I got at the hardware store. Very inexpensive. I think they're about, I want to say about $2 and some change per each. Not too bad. And again, I mean, the tray itself, it was free from the side of the road. And then all that I spent was a little bit of vinyl used for my stencil and the paint, which is not too much. Overall, this was a great find, great project, and I love the way it turned out.
That you miss me. Would you stay till the morning light? Or would you follow me? Or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy. Or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Till the morning light. Till the morning light. Till the morning light. Yeah. Till the morning light. Till the morning light. Till the morning light. Yeah. Maybe I'm just too weak. Maybe I'm just afraid of being alone. Well, I don't care, 'cause right now I feel the love that we said we would burn. Oh, I know that you feel it too. I know that I told you we're over. I swear that I'm sober. Just listen, I miss you. And I know that I said all these things, but now when you're with her, I can see that you miss me. Would you stay till the morning light? Or would you follow me? Or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy. Or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Stay till the morning light. Or would you follow me? Or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy. Or would you stay with me now till the morning? Would you stay till the morning light? Or would you follow me? Or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy. Or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Till the morning light. Till the morning light. Till the morning light. Yeah. Till the morning light. Till the morning light.
Alright guys, so here we have another DIY that I did this month that I absolutely loved. This was part of a thrift store makeover that I did. This sign I found at the thrift store and it was already very pretty, but I want to turn it into a tray as well. A farmhouse style tray. So I'm going to remove the back hooks from it, and of course I'm going to save them. I do want to also secure a little bit more the bottom of the tray because it was the sign before. It was okay. It was already brad nailed, but I just wanted to add a few more to make sure it is very secure when carrying things on the tray.
Till the Just listen.
And then of course I'm going to paint it white. White is my preferred color, especially if I'm doing a farmhouse style. But any of these DIYs can certainly be done in any other color. It's just that I prefer white. So I'm going to give everything 2 coats of the Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white.
I miss you. And I know that I said all these things, but now when you're with her, I can see that you miss me.
I'm also going to be using 4 of these wooden blocks from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to give them 2 coats as well of the Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white.
Why don't we say
And now that everything is dry, I am going to stencil this or the middle of it using this French style, farmhouse style stencil that I got on Amazon. I do believe is also in my Amazon store. And I'm just going to use the same chalk paint from Rust-Oleum in the charcoal tone. And again, just stenciling it. And I thought it just added a super cute kind of cafe style stencil to the middle of this tray.
that it's too late for us now? Why do we stay when I blame you for the things that weigh me down? 'Cause in the echo of your silence, I only hear what's best for me. Yeah, in the echo of your silence, I'm thinking more of her. She who wants to study your body, who gets the best.
And now it's time to add some handles. I am measuring here to make sure that I have everything nice and even. I'm going to use these pipe brackets that I got at I actually normally get them at the hardware store, but these particular ones I did get on Amazon. I want to say I do have them in my Amazon store, so check it out if you're interested, and I'll make sure that it's in there. Just securing them with some screws, and I'll do that on the other side as well.
Version of you, I need the bitter truth. I need the better version of you. I need the better version of you. Better you.
Before I add the rope as handles, I want to give this a medium distress. And so I'm using my electric sander again and a 220 grit sandpaper. I'm going to focus mainly on the edges, but I will distress the stencil just a little bit to give it that worn out look. And then once I was done with that, I am going to add the legs. The wooden blocks are nice and dry now. So here I'm just kind of measuring, or not measuring, just kind of dry fitting where they're going to be. So then I flipped it over and now I'm going to secure them from the top using wood glue as well as brad nails.
You talk about faith. Is it just something you say? Or is it the same with that girl you texted when I look away? 'Cause in the echo of your silence, I only hear what's best for me. Yeah, in the echo of your silence, I'm thinking more of her. She who wants to study your body, who gets the better version of you. I need the bitter truth. I need the better version of you.
And now I'm going to use some spackle to fill in some of those holes that the brad nails left on the top of the tray. Alright, so while the spackling is drying, I'm going to now add the handles using some Dollar Tree nautical rope and basically just going to thread them through and then make a knot, and that'll be the handles on both sides. I did touch up the paint where I added the spackle just to make sure that it matched in color with the rest of the tray. And then once everything was dry, it was time to seal everything. Again, I want to make sure that this is protected from any spills or any water or anything that may be on it. And I also want it to be safe. So I'm just going to give it several coats of the varathane, polyurethane, and we are all done. Look how beautiful this turned out.
How did we end up here in the corner, looking like enemies? We used to be the team people talk about, what a chemistry. I can see it in your eyes. You don't wanna talk anymore. I wanna get so numb, while we enemies.
All right, so guys, my next DIY, I have lost track. I told you I would. Of where I'm at, but this was part of the same video as the last one. It was part of my thrift store flip, and I'm just removing all the hardware from this door. I think it belonged to a cabinet because they brought 2 doors in the set that I bought, but we're just going to use one today. Once I have everything removed, it's time to get everything nice and prepped. I cleaned it off using the crud cutter, make sure everything was nice and clean, and then I filled in the hole from where the handle was using the wood filler, and then I let that dry. And then once the wood filler was dry, I sanded it down using a 120 grit sandpaper just to make sure it was nice and smooth to the touch, and getting it ready for 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk pen in the linen white. And again, I used my chippy brush for this one as well.
When you get too close, I lose my way and I freeze. I wish you knew what power you have over me, but now it's so hard to breathe. Just get me out of here. Just get me out of here.
And then once the 2 coats were dry, it was time to distress. I want this to have a distressed farmhouse look, but not too heavy. So I'm going to do it by hand using a 120 grit sandpaper, focusing on the edges as well as where the plank, the shiplap look there in the middle, where all the shiplap meets. I do want to distress that area as well. Alright, so now I'm going to add a couple of screws. This is where I will hang the wreath that I'm going to design for it. I'm going to add 2 screws because I want this wall decor to be able to be placed either vertically or horizontally, depending on where the person who buys it will hang it. If they have a narrow area, they can hang it vertically. If they have a wider area, they can always hang it horizontally. I'm going to add claw hooks to the back, and again I'm going to add 2 of them so that they are able to switch how it's hung and be ready for that. So now it's time to design a wreath for this beautiful piece. This is probably about 10-inch wreath, and I'm just going to start giving it a more farmhouse fall look, but it can certainly be done in any style, decor style that anyone wants. You can change it with all the seasons. So I'm just going to use these wheat bush or dried wheat bushes that I got at Walmart, and I'm just going to add them as I see fit and as I see that I like. And we are finishing off here with this beautiful little yellow flower that I got at Home Goods. It came part of a full flower arrangement, but I just thought adding it to the center there would add a final touch of color. And I think it turned out absolutely stunning.
Give me love, give me all your love, oh, 'cause I want you. No one else makes me feel this way, don't know what you do. Hold my hand, could you hold my hand, look me in the eyes.
Alright, so for my next DIY, I am going to take a Dollar Tree clear bowl. I remove the bottom sticker, and what I want to do is I want to create kind of like a basket look. So I'm going to use one of these Dollar Tree hats that I had used for a previous DIY, and the leftover ribbon, I just pulled the hat apart and I was left with this beautiful boho style ribbon, and I'm just going to wrap the entire bowl using hot glue and this ribbon. And basically I'm just going to overlap each row, but very little, because I want you to be able to see all the details of the ribbon, but I don't want any of the bowl to be seen. So they're going to overlap very little, but I'm going to wrap the entire bowl except the bottom part, because I want to make sure that the bowl can actually sit nice and straight on any surface.
You and me, yeah, that's all I need, and I'll be alright. I'll be right here. I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer. I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. Be who you are and you'll be enough. If you're giving me your love, giving me your love. All that we have is each other now. Promise you won't leave my side. I hope who I am is enough for you. If I'm giving you my love, giving you my love, love. Tell me what you wanna do, I'll do anything. As long as I can be here with you, everything's alright. I'll be right here. I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer. I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. Be who you are and you'll be enough. If you're giving me your love, giving me your love. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. I hope who I am is enough for you. If I'm giving you my love, giving you my love, love, love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love.
Don't need someone to save me, no, and don't come running to blame me. From miles away, I can that something's off. The way you look and how you pause when you talk, I think I said enough. You said you love for me something brand new. You said this is something you would never do.
Alright, so now it's time to cover the rim. So basically I'm going to use the same technique, just hot gluing it, but I'm going to focus on the bottom portion of the rim. So I'm going to add some hot glue there to the bottom portion of the rim and then secure the ribbon all around. And then once the ribbon is secured and attached all around the bottom of the rim, then we're going to wrap it around the top of the rim, again using hot glue.
Be honest for a second, yeah, you're being over your head, babe, 'cause there is no one other than me that can make you feel the way you feel when I hold you. I think I said enough. You said you love for me something brand new. You said this is something you would never do. Here we are in your car. Let me see who you are, who you really are. Yeah, don't need you here to say you're sorry, 'cause if you're gonna leave me, then just do it. Don't take it slow, don't be gentle. No, I just gotta know if you're gonna leave me, then just do it. Just do it. Don't need you here to say you're sorry, 'cause if you're gonna leave me, then just do it. Don't take it slow, don't be gentle.
Alright, so now I am going to add some handles. I want these handles to actually reach the bottom rim of the bowl. So I'm going to hot glue another part or a piece of this ribbon all the way from the bottom to the top. Loop it around so it has a handle and then bring it all the way back down, hot gluing it until it's nicely secure.
Shooting me with words, but I won't let them bruise. Even though it hurts, I won't show it to you, 'cause it will ricochet. I won't let it bite. I will look at you and tell you that I'm alright. Like a ricochet, it will come back to you. 'Cause I don't care about you anymore. So you can't hurt me like you did before. Let me tell you, not because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. And even if you're trying to hurt me, my skin's getting thicker each day. I don't know how you fall asleep at night, knowing that your words are hurtful, it's just not right. Not because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. Like a ricochet, like a ricochet. try to turn me into somebody else, but it will ricochet. I won't let it bite. I will look at you and tell you that I'm alright. Like a ricochet, it will come back to you. 'Cause I don't care about you anymore, so you can't hurt me like you did before. Let me tell you.
And now we are about done with this one, guys, and it's actually one of my favorites from this month. I just think it transformed this bowl, and it just absolutely looks beautiful.
Now because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. And even if you're trying to hurt me, my skin's getting thicker each day. Don't know how you fall asleep at night, knowing that your words are hurtful, it's just not right. Now because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away like a ricochet.
All right, so on to the second DIY that I did for the same kind of Dollar Tree fall decor. I am going to take this canvas frame that I used for my previous project, and it was leftover, and then I'm going to use some of these painter sticks that I got on Amazon, and it is also on my Amazon store. I'm going to take about 10 of them and kind of use them all actually. I'm going to use them to plank the top of this frame. I'm going to make sure that I use the side of the painter stick that is not the ruler side, and I'm also going to alternate the curvy part, one going up, one going down, so they're not all facing the same side. Another thing that I am doing is I am making sure that I am placing them staggered in different, just one higher than the other, just to give it a planked look.
Let me tell you, now because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. And even if you're trying to hurt me, my skin's getting thicker each day. Don't know
I used hot glue to secure them, but you can certainly use wood glue, staples, whatever you have on hand, but hot glue was plenty sufficient.
how you fall asleep at night, knowing that your words are hurtful, it's just not right. Now because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away like a ricochet. Oh.
Now I am going to use 2 leftover painter sticks, and I'm just marking where I want to make cuts because I want to hot glue them to the side of, or to each side of the sign.
I've been lying here for too long. I don't know what else to do. I wanna get away from every little thing just to try to make it through. I've been thinking about my options, every detail in my head, but it doesn't really matter, nothing matters, so I cry instead. I've been running in circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can, but I ain't got nothing left. I've been staring at the ceiling, I've been staying up all night. Everything I ever worked for vanished in the blink of an eye. I've been asking every question, 'cause I haven't got a clue. Why's it gotta be me? What the hell am I supposed to do?
Now that everything is secure and glued, I am now going to give it 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white.
And I know there's so much more to this life, but it's hard to see it clearly. Yeah, I try my best, but nothing turns out right. God, I need you now so dearly. 'Cause I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can.
And then once the paint was dry, I am now going to distress it using the Waverly antique wax and my stenciling brush, and I'm just going to distress some of the edges and a little bit in the center to give it a more dimension, character, and that farmhouse look that I'm looking for.
But I ain't got nothing left. I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can.
Alright, so now it's time to make everything look super cute to add to the sign. I'm going to use this football from the Dollar Tree. It was part of a like a multi little pumpkin football sign, but I just took one of the pumpkins out and I'm going to use the antique wax from Waverly, and I'm just going to stain about 2/3 of the football on the back side and then wipe off the excess and excess, oh my gosh, the excess wax from it. And once it was dry, I'm going to put some of Dollar Tree nautical rope, and what I'm basically doing is a acorn, but I'm going to hot glue or cut and hot glue as I go. I want us to have to overlap on the edges just a bit, and I'm going to hot glue it all the way to the top and also add a little stem.
Look out, here she comes, the woman that I love. It's too bad she'll never know. Yeah, I can't tell her how I feel, because she has someone who makes her happy. I'm a ghost in these walls, or at least I try to be. 'Cause I hope that I'm not showing how I feel for her, but she won't feel the same for me. I've got this picture in my mind. It's just the two of us, just the two of us. But I know I have to try to let her go, because she won't be mine. I listen when she talks, I watch her when she walks. She's giving me these feelings that I've never felt before, but she will never know that I love her so well. She's with somebody else and I will have to let her go. She will never know, never know, she.
Alright, so now it's time to add something to hang the sign from. So I'm just going to use some leftover of that nautical rope and hot glue it to the back.
She will never know, never know, she'll never know. It's like she stole my heart without knowing she did. But I guess that it will pass. Yeah, I can't be the only one.
I'm going to put everything together now, starting with the acorn, which I think turned out super cute. I'm just going to hot glue it to the bottom left corner there of the sign. And then I'm going to add some florals as I see that I like. These are from Walmart. Again, part of that wheat bush that I got, which by the way, I would check at Walmart to see if they still have them. These are stunning. They feel so good and so real. I just really, really like them. So I'm just going to hot glue this here on the other side of the acorn.
Who got lost inside the blue of those eyes? I've gotta let her go. I know it won't be.
I added a buffalo check bow to the top of the sign. I just think it added a cute farmhouse detail. And then I'm going to add a simple jute twine bow to the bottom of the floral there, or the wheat bush there. And this is a multiple kind of like bow, like multiple layer bow, but it's very simple. And I'm just going to secure it there with some hot glue.
I wanna hold her close, but I have to try as hard as I can.
And we are just about done, and I think this one turned out super cute. My favorite part of it is the acorn. I think it's just so stinking cute.
She'll never be mine. I listen when she talks. I watch her when she walks. She's giving me these feelings that I've never felt before. She will never know that I love her so well. She's with somebody else, and I will have to let her go. She will never know, never know, she will never know, never know, she will never know, never know, she will never know, she'll never know.
All right, guys, so moving on to this next DIY. This was part of a high-end for less fall decor using a pop of color. And for this particular series was a navy blue. This is the Rust-Oleum chalk pen in the coastal blue, which is beautiful. And this is a Dollar Tree foam pumpkin that is covered in a beautiful fabric. However, for this particular one, I want it to be blue. So I'm going to give it a heavy coat of this blue and then let it dry. So once the pumpkin was dry to the touch, or at least I thought, the bottom it was still a little bit wet, but anyways, it did end up drying. I'm going to use some aluminum foil to create a thicker, longer, flexible stem because I want it to have a curled, longer, like a longer curled stem. So I'm just going to keep adding thicker on the bottom and then thinner as it goes up, and then I'm going to fold it and curl it as I see that I like. All right, so now I'm going to wrap it using this leftover, it's kind of like a burlap kind of, I don't know, maybe ribbon or something. It was part of a messenger bag, and this was the handle. And I just thought it would look super cute if it was wrapped around this stem. So I am going to wrap it around and then secure it with hot glue. Okay, so now I thought the pumpkin or the stem just need a little bit more character and dimension, so I wrapped it around in a spiral way using jute twine and then secured it with hot glue. And it also just finished it off with the edge on the bottom. It just looked cleaner at the end. And then to just add a little bit more character and dimension, I dry brushed a little bit of the Rust-Oleum chalk pen in the linen white. And this was just, again, to add a little bit more of a farmhouse style look. But I just think it just added that final touch and it just made it look so high-end and so beautiful.
Would you stay till the morning light? Or would you follow me? Or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy. Or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Before you turn away, I just want you to know that I didn't throw your stuff away. Before you make up your mind that I'm nowhere to find, I'm standing right here. I know that I told you we're over. I swear that
All right, so again, part of that series, part of that video was also this one. I took 3 different pumpkins from the Dollar Tree, and they're all going to have a new look. The bigger one was already very beautiful in itself, but I just wanted this to, again, just have a more navy blue tone. So I'm going to remove everything from it, and I'm going to give it 2 coats of that Rust-Oleum chalk pen in the coastal blue.
but just listen, I miss you. And I know that I said all these things, but now when you're with her, I can see that you miss me. Would you stay till the morning light? Or would you follow me? Or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy. Or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Till the morning light. Till the morning light. Till the morning light. Yeah.
And then once the 2 coats were dry, I am going to distress it and add some dimension to it by dry brushing a little bit of distress on the edges and some details on the middle of the pumpkin using the Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white.
Maybe I'm just too weak, maybe I'm just afraid of being alone. Well, I don't care, 'cause right now I feel the love that we said we would burn. Oh, I know that you feel it too. I know that I told you we're over. I swear that I'm sober. Just listen, I miss you. And I know that I said all these things, but now when you're with her, I can see that.
I decided to wrap the stem using jute rope. This is from Amazon, and I do have it on my Amazon store as well, and then securing it with hot glue.
That you miss me. Would you stay till the morning light? Or would you follow me? Or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy. Or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Stay till the morning light. Or would you follow me? Or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy. Or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Would you stay till the morning light? Or would you follow me?
Now I'm going to take one of the smaller pumpkins from the Dollar Tree and give it one coat of the Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white. And then because it was just one coat, it dried very, very quickly. Then I wanted to add again some character and some dimension. So I wanted to distress the edges and a little bit of detail. So I used the Waverly antiquing wax and my stenciling brush to add the distress and the details.
Why don't we say that it's too late for us now? Why do we stay when I blame you for the things that weigh me down? 'Cause in the echo of your silence, I only hear
For the third pumpkin, I am going to hot glue or add some hot glue to the surface of the pumpkin, and then I am going to glue it to this leftover burlap from burlapfabric.com, and that way this pumpkin will have a burlap finish to it.
for me. Yeah, in the echo of your silence, I'm thinking more of her. She who wants to study your body.
I cut the excess burlap from the pumpkin, and that was it for that one. This is probably the easier one, but it was actually one of my favorite. It looks so rustic, so farmhouse. Really loved the way it looked.
Who gets the better version of you? I need the bitter truth. I need the better version of you. I need the better.
So now it's time to put everything together. I'm going to use some Dollar Tree foam board. I cut 4 pieces and then hot glue 2 to each other to be able to hot glue it on the back of the pumpkins. That way it's going to have some kind of like dimension, kind of like 3D dimension, and that way it's not just a flat sign. And the reason why I'm standing it up is because I want to make sure that each pumpkin is flat to the bottom, that they're all flat on the same level. That way it can be placed on a tabletop. But I'm also going to add some jute twine to the top of the bigger pumpkin that it can also be hung if wanted.
How did we end up here in the corner looking like enemies? We used to be the team people talk about, what a chemistry. I can see it in your eyes. You don't wanna talk anymore. I wanna get so numb while we enemies. No, you don't mind the way I stutter my words. You know exactly what it means and how it hurts. Oh, I can't believe you're here. Can't get any worse, no.
And we are just about done with this one, and it is so beautiful. And again, I picked navy blue, but really you can use any color you want and customize your own beautiful pumpkin sign for this fall season.
I just wanna get out of here. I find it so hard to breathe. 'Cause when you get too close, I lose my way and I freeze. I wish you knew what power you have over me. But now it's so hard to breathe. Just get me out of here. Just get me out of here. Just get me out of. How can you be so calm around me when I act desperately? You used to be the one getting crazy when I'd be hard to reach. I can see it in your eyes. You don't wanna talk anymore. I wanna get so numb while we enemies.
Alright guys, so on to this next DIY. This was part of a video that I did doing 5 different fall wreaths, and I'm just picking here one of my favorites. This was a very simple one using wire wreath from the Dollar Tree, and basically I'm just cutting off and separating 2 of the wire circles, and basically it's going to be the 2 middle ones. So the 2 is going to be the smaller portion after I'm done cutting it.
No, you don't mind the way I stutter my words.
Now going to take one of those Dollar Tree hats and I'm going to um, separate all or pull it all apart. And this is how I did the other one too, but I already had some left over. But for this one, I had to use a new hat. So basically I just find where the seam begins and then pull it all out, and then you're left with a beautiful amount of ribbon that you can use for any DIY. Now I am going to take hot glue and I'm just going to wrap it around the wreath. That way the entire thing is covered in this beautiful ribbon.
Find it so hard to breathe, 'cause when you get too close, I lose my way and I freeze. I wish you knew what power you have over me, but now it's so hard to breathe. Just get me out of here. Just get me out of here.
Alright, so now it's time to add some florals. These are a combination of different picks that I got at Dollar Tree, as well as some of the yellow baby's breath that I got on Amazon. Beautiful color tone for fall. And for this particular wreath, I decided to add the florals to the bottom of the wreath. And once they were on there, that was it, guys. I mean, I added a raffia bow to the center, and then that's it. It was very simple but so beautiful. I like to keep my wreaths very simple. I don't like to overly decorate them, but that's just what I prefer. You can certainly do something similar and wrap it all around with florals, and I think it will look beautiful as well.
Give me love, give me all your love, oh, 'cause I want you. No one else makes me feel this way, don't know what you do. Hold my hand, could you hold my hand, look me in the eyes. You and me, yeah, that's all I need, and I'll be alright. I'll be right here, I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer, I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. Be who you are and you'll be enough. If you're giving me your love, giving me your love. All that we have is each other now. Promise you won't leave my side. I hope who I am is enough for you. If I'm giving you my love, giving you my love, love. Tell me what you wanna do, I'll do anything. As long as I can be here with you, everything's alright. I'll be right here, I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer, I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side.
So continuing with the wreath theme, I am going to take this Grapevine wreath that I have used in several of my projects. And I'm going to add some florals. This is again part of the wheat bush that I got from Walmart. And I'm just going to place a couple of them here on the bottom right side of the wreath. Again, keeping it very simple in the floral portion of this. And then I'm going to add these beautiful peonies that I got on Amazon. You saw earlier some pink ones. This is more of a brownish tone, which I think are beautiful and perfect for fall. I'm just going to add a few there to the same side. And then I'm going to finish it off using some burlap ribbon from burlapfabric.com, and I'm just going to make a simple bow and add it to the bottom of the florals there, and we'll be done with this one.
Be who you are and you'll be enough. If you're giving me your love, giving me your love. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. I hope who I am is enough for you. If I'm giving you my love, giving you my love, love, love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love. Give me love, give me all your love, give me all your love.
Don't need someone to save me, no, and don't come running and blame me. From miles away, I can tell that something's off. The way you look and how you pause when you talk, I think I said enough.
Guys, so we're just about done with this wreath, and it's absolutely stunning. It has such a timeless look and almost very elegant. And again, if you were to recreate something similar to this, you can certainly add more florals all around if you'd like, but I just like to keep mine simple. So that's it. I just added some tails there to the bow, and then we'll be done.
Said your love for me something brand new. You said this is something you would never do. Here we are in your car. Let me see who you are, who you really are. Yeah. Don't need you here to say you're sorry. 'Cause if you're gonna leave me, then just do it. Don't take it slow, don't be gentle. No, I just gotta know if you're gonna leave me, then just do it.
So now onto this plank here. This is part of a palette, and I want to create a oh my gosh, a picture frame. So I am going to sand it down just a little bit to remove a lot of these splinters, and then I'm going to measure to cut 3 parts. So I want to cut this piece of wood into 3 equal parts to create more of a rectangular picture frame.
Let's be honest for a second. Yeah, you're being over your head, babe. 'Cause there is no one other than me that can make you feel the way you feel when I hold you. I think I said enough.
And then once I had them cut, I will be secure them in the back with some painter sticks. I'm going to use wood glue as well as the brad nails. The painter sticks, again, I have them in my Amazon store, as well as the miter box that you see me using there. Such a cool tool to have when you're doing smaller projects like these. The other painter stick was a leftover one I had from a previous project, and I just added that. Again, I'm just going to secure it in the back using wood glue as well as brad nails.
Said you love for me something brand new. You said this is something you would never do. Here we are in a car. Let me see who you are, who you really are. Yeah, don't need you here to say you're sorry. 'Cause if you're gonna leave me, then just do it. Don't take it slow, don't be gentle. No, I just gotta know if you're gonna leave me, then just do it. Just do it. Don't need you here to say you're sorry.
Alright guys, so now I'm going to take this Dollar Tree picture frame cover, and I'm just going to take one of the two that comes in the packet. This is where I'm going to place the photo in. I'm going to use one of my wedding day photos. It's a 5x7, and I'm going to put it on the back and secure it with just regular clear tape. Two little pieces was just enough to have it secured there. And then I'm going to place it with a clip. These clips are found on Amazon, and I do have them in my Amazon store. And I'm just going to secure it to the top there. And then I did add a claw hook to the back to be able to hang the picture frame, and then it'll be done. And it was stunning. This picture frame is beautiful. My husband actually saw it and fell in love with it, and he actually kept it for his office, and I was very flattered by it.
Shooting me with words, but I won't let them bruise. Even though it hurts, I won't show it to you. 'Cause it will ricochet, I won't let it bite. I will look at you and tell you that I'm alright, like a ricochet.
Alright guys, so then this DIY here is a piece of wood top from a side table that I flipped several months ago. It was cracked, and it was, you know, like 1/3 of it came off, and I was left over with this nice size piece of wood, and I just never knew what to do with it. And now and then for this project I said this would be perfect for it. I cleaned it off and make sure that it was dust free, grime free, and now I'm going to give it 2 coats of Rust-Oleum chalk paint in the linen white. Once the paint was fully dry, I did add a decal from the Dollar Tree. These decals are so cute and so easy to work with and very customizable. I'm just going to cut off all the letters and pieces of letters from it, because that way I can then add as needed to fit the size of the wood.
'Cause I don't care about you anymore. So you can't hurt me like you did before. Let me tell you, not because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. And even if you're trying to hurt me, my skin's getting thicker each day. I don't know how you fall asleep at night, knowing that your words are hurtful, it's just not right. Not because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. Like a ricochet, like a ricochet, like a ricochet, like a ricochet. I used to let it in, all the things you said. You try to turn me into somebody else, but it will.
Alright, so now that everything is placed where it needs to go, actually I did end up moving the Are Everywhere more to the right, because I'm going to add some hooks to the bottom of this. This is going to be a mask a place to hang your masks for your home. And I thought the words were very appropriate for it. So I'm just going to pre-drill some holes and then add 4 hooks to the bottom of it.
I won't let it bite. I will look at you and tell you that I'm alright. Like a ricochet, it will come back to you. 'Cause I don't care about you anymore. So you can't hurt me like you did before. Let me tell you, not because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. And even if you try,
I want to add some greenery to the top of it, more like a swag kind of look. So I'm just going to take a couple of these boxwood picks and I'm going to wrap around them, or put them together wrapped around with some jute twine and hot glue, and then hot glue it to the top of the sign.
hurt me, my skin's getting thicker each day. Don't know how you fall asleep at night, knowing that your words are hurtful, it's just not right. No, because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. Like a ricochet, like a ricochet, like a ricochet, like a ricochet.
I am now going to take these Dollar Tree chalkboard picks and I'm going to remove the pick from it, and I'm going to hot glue them on top of each hook. That way names can be placed on each hook, and that way everybody knows where their mask is going to hang. And then we'll be done with this one. And this was actually my favorite from this video. It turned out super cute. And for these times where everybody has their mask and a lot of them look the same, I thought it would be super cool. When you get home, you can hang your mask right where it belongs to. And it turned out so cute using scrap wood.
Let me tell you, not because my eyes are open, your words will keep bouncing away. And even if you're trying to hurt me, my skin's getting thicker each day. Don't know how you fall.
I did add a couple of claw hooks to the back, of course, to make sure that there's a place to hang it from. And then we'll be done, guys. I hope you enjoyed this long video, but hey, it is packed with a lot of fall inspiration to get you ready for fall and just give you some inspiration overall for some home decor. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're visiting for the first time, I hope you consider subscribing and joining our YouTube family. I'm going to have a playlist at the end of this video. If you're looking for more farmhouse inspiration, click on that playlist. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back, watching my videos, and for your support. And guys, I hope you have a blessed day.
I don't know what else to do. I wanna get away from every little thing just to try to make it through. I've been thinking about my options, every detail in my head, but it doesn't really matter, nothing matters, so